Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to a new video. Now, just recently there has been a teaser or a trailer announced or shown to the public about the newest champion coming to League of Legends, Kled. Now, there is a trailer, so I want to go over it with you guys. We're going to watch it together, and then we're going to look at some very specific parts to try and understand, what kind of mechanics this champion can potentially have, because Riot tends to, like to kind of hint people on very small things in these kind of teasers or trailers. If you look really carefully at them, you can figure out certain things here and there. So, without further ado, guys, let's take a look at the trailer first together, and then we'll go through it a bit, look at the small details and see if we can figure out what exactly this champion can be in terms of playstyle and gameplay. So, without further ado, let's check out the trailer. So it's like a big battlefield, a lot of action happening. That looks painful, man. This helmet's there he is, man. There's that sexy looking guy. There's a little bit more at the end, so let's check that out as well.
You're trespassing.
Almost sounds like gameplay. I'm not gonna lie. Almost sounds like gameplay. That's about it though. That's the trailer, guys. There you go. The new champion Kled is gonna be released, I don't know, probably in like a week or so, maybe this coming Tuesday. But let's take a look at a few really small, like fine prints or small details that I want to point out. So the first of which is around 31 seconds. This is kind of happening throughout the whole first half. This part right here, the teeth getting knocked out, and then you have the other guy here just ahead. The one that had the helmet, kind of just this guy right here, his helmet just completely destroyed, and you can see the foot of Kled's mount, right? The thing that he was so happy to see near the end of the video. It's just completely tearing off his helmet, right? So that kind of implies that, chances are this mount has like moves of its own, or maybe with Kled on top of him or something, where it can dash through people and deal some kind of charged attack damage. Just goes right through people, just does damage to everyone in a line, and then you appear at the other side or something like that. That's the impression that I get when I see this. But the next thing to look at is around 45 seconds. So right after this, we'll let it play out by itself. Again, there's the foot of it. Actually, there's something else to notice that I'll talk about a bit later too. Hold on a second. Right here. Okay, I just keep jumping ahead. Let's go back a bit. Right there. So you can see an arrow inside the mount's leg, right? And again, this is kind of a still image, moving very slowly. At the end, when you see him jumping towards Kled, the mount, it seems really happy, even though it literally has an arrow in its, in its knee or its thigh or whatever. So, to me that tells me that, this mount is fairly tanky, or at least when maybe Kled is on the mount, assuming that, he has two forms, one on mount and one off of mount, it becomes a lot more tankier, you can alternate between those two forms. But moving ahead, this one right here is a very interesting one. It looks like some kind of bullet, right? You can see the little bullet path right there moving along, and this is where it hits, I guess, I don't know, whatever he was holding, and it just explodes, right? So that obviously implies that, yeah, chances are he has some kind of ranged auto attack with a gun or a pistol, and that's something that you should obviously probably watch out for. And then there's the sexy mofo himself. I'm not gonna lie, he kind of looks like Rengar if he was a Yordle, right? Because he's got that little scar over his eye, like a missing eye. His facial, like everything, just his fur, and it looks so much like Rengar. It really looks like a Yordle version of Rengar. But moving ahead a little bit from this, there's the mount. This is what he's gonna be, I'm assuming, riding. So he'll have two different forms, off mount, on mount. And this thing looks really interesting, I have to say. It looks like one of those like crazy looking things that just does whatever Kled wants it to do, and if Kled tells it to go through 20 different people, like in this case, I guess in this video, there's like soldiers everywhere. If he tells it to dash right through them, it will do it without question, without any hesitance. But there's the arrow right there we saw at the beginning. There's actually two of them, I think. It looks like there's two of them, so it implies that the mount is probably tanky. There's the gun that Kled is holding, so again, implying that, he does have a ranged form and he can shoot people from afar. But then, if we move past all of this with all these arrows flying at them, all the way to the end, right here.
You're You're trespassing.
He stabs him, right? So obviously that says, you know what? When he's off of the mount, which we saw just now, he has a gun. That's what he uses to, you know, maybe he plays like an ADC almost, you can say. But when he's on the mount, he suddenly goes from an ADC type playstyle to maybe like a top lane bruiser almost type playstyle, with the melee auto tag being this kind of a polearm or whatever it is. Because, I don't know, that's just the impression I'm getting, and he becomes maybe a lot more tanky because now Kled is on top of his mount, and his mount obviously adds technically more HP or more like armor or resistances to Kled's overall beefiness. So that's kind of the impression I get from this. So, I mean, there you have it, boys and girls, the new champion Kled coming to League of Legends. I'm assuming this Tuesday. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming it will be Tuesday. You know, the announcement for like revealing his abilities, and then I'll have some gameplay up on my channel as well. So that's about it for this video, guys. Looking at the teaser, if you did enjoy it, if you're excited for this new champion, hit that like button to show your support. I'm pretty damn excited. I really want to see what his playstyle is, because I am almost positive it's going to be some form of maybe, you know, Jace or Nidalee style, where you have two different forms, except from being one person with two forms. It's kind of like two people that can be together or separate. But the question is, if they're separate, and if Kled does not have his mount there, what happens to his mount? Does it just disappear and then it just kind of comes out of nowhere and, you know, he jumps on top of it? Or can you control two different characters? That's the big question. Can you control two different characters at the same time if he's off of the mount, or does it just disappear? But either way, guys, there you have it. If you did enjoy this video, again, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, check out my other videos as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.